Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here with brahwegotthis, and today we are going over the top 5 most important things in ESO in my opinion. Now, let me just go ahead and say that trying to narrow down 5 things that are very important to a massive multiplayer online game is very difficult. So try to bear with me as I consolidate down to 5 really important things that I think are pillars of information that you need to know in ESO that will help you be a better player. It will help you have more fun, I think, in the game, and it will just give you an overall better understanding of how ESO works. So if you guys like this video, let's see if we can get past those 23 likes that we got on the 23 essential tips video. Thank you again to all my members and patrons. I really do appreciate it. We got a huge amount of new members from our last stream. Thank you, McDanian, for that. You can check out all the memberships down below. You get your name up in here and all the video action. You get your access to our members only Discord. You get early access to videos and much more. And it does help support the channel and help us further the content in the channel. So let's get to the video. My first thing on the list as one of the most important things in ESO is the Armory System. Now, I touched on that a little bit in the 23 essential tips video, but we're going to go into that in depth right now. So the Armory System is something that was a quality of life update that is free for everyone to get in the Crown Store. Like I said in our tips video, it's for free. You just have to go to the Crown Store and get it, put it in your house, and you can utilize it. Now I'm on a newer character here, and I'm going to show you guys how this works. What you need to do is go up to the Armory Station, and you have 2 builds at stock. You have to buy extra slots, but you don't have to do that or whatever. But basically, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to press R to save my build. It's going to save it. And this is my build right now. So I can actually rename this by clicking F to build 1. So this is just my, let's just call it noob build. You can give icons to it to designate what you want. Maybe it's a ranger or something, so you choose that and it has an icon next to it. What it does is it saves your CP points, it saves your attributes, it saves your skills, it saves your weapons, your equipment, your mundus. I believe now, I think they updated to do that, I'm not sure, but it saves everything. So why this is so important is because if you are trying to play tank and healer and DPS on the same character, you can have those builds saved into this Armory System. So you don't have to go to shrines, you don't have to buy respec scrolls from the Crown Store. Never do that. You never have to spend gold. Okay, you can literally just save your builds in here, and all your CP, all your skills, all your passives, all your weapons and armor, all of that is going to be there. And it's very useful because it's something that this game has needed for a while, and you can actually use the assistant, the Armory Assistant in the Crown Store. Now that is actually money, so you don't have to buy that or anything, but to use it on the go. But this is something that, in my opinion, a lot of people don't utilize enough. So say you want to reset your character, say you want to build something fresh. You don't have to take off all your armor, you don't have to take off all your CP, you don't have to go respec, spend money, spend gold. All you gotta do is come to build 2 or an open build and hit equip build. And what that does is it will literally make you naked. I'm sorry for that, but it takes away literally everything. So all your skill points are back, all your passives are back, and that is just a fantastic thing to have. A great thing that people don't realize is that this actually alleviates the need to put all your skill points into your crafting lines on your main character. So if you're running out of skill points and you need them for your combat stats or for your skills or some other ones that you need that aren't related to crafting, you can put them there. You can literally have a build separate where you just do crafting. So all those skill points can literally just go on your crafting on your blank build. You can do that, you can do your writs, and then you can put your actual build back on. So you just E to equip, and there it is. A few things to know is you have to have these in your inventory to equip, so you have to have the armor in there, so make sure it's in there. And another thing is, if you have a curse like vampirism or the werewolf curse, I believe it does remove that, so you got to pay attention to that, okay? The second most important thing in ESO, or second on my list, this isn't really in order, is researching, guys. I talked about this with the essential tips, and I talk about it in every video, but I'm serious when I say it is probably the most important thing in this game. And the reason it's important is because it affects so many different facets of the game, okay? And so what I want to show you is I want to show you a little bit of what it affects and why you need to do it and why you guys should start doing it now, okay? So on this character, I don't really have any crafting lines, but I'm just going to kind of show you guys. This is the research tab, okay? And like I said in my essential tips video, this is how you research traits. So when you want to create a piece of armor or a weapon, you can actually make the trait that you want, okay? You have to research this. At base, you only get to research one thing in a profession, okay? So for blacksmithing, I can only research either a weapon or a piece of armor, okay? It says here researchable. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do this, but as you see, that takes 5 hours and 24 minutes to do one piece, okay? One piece. So what that means is that the more pieces that you have researched, the longer it takes. It gets to the point where it takes 20 to 30 days of real life time. So what you want to do is you want to start doing this early, because it's like farming in RuneScape. You need to get this started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Oh wait, I'm not going to research that because that's something I need for a build. But basically though, the reason though you want to start early is because if you get some under your belt, then what you can do is you can actually then put skill points into the metallurgy. So that is like the specific one for blacksmithing, and they have one for clothing, jewelry crafting, and woodworking. So this lets you have reduced research times and lets you research more than one item. You can research up to 3 items at once, okay? The reason that this is important is it affects a lot of different things, okay? It affects the Armory System, which I will be going into, and the Armory System is the one of the quality of life updates that everyone has access to. And in order to recreate these item pieces, you have got to have the traits researched to create the piece that you want, right? So look, if I go over here, and I will explain this more in depth in a second, but if I go over to the transmute station and I want to recreate something, well, if I want to recreate this, I can't create anything. I have nothing researched. So when you get to the end game, you really want to have these things researched. Another big thing is there's master writs at stake. So when you get master writs, I think this has been confirmed, but the more traits that you have researched, I believe it gives you either more of a chance to get master writs or better master writs or something like that. You'll have to check me on that, but I believe it's something similar to that. And now while we're at it, let's go to number 3. One of the most important things is the item set collection system. Researching feeds into this. What the item set collection system is it's a sticker book. It's kind of like Destiny's sticker book. But what happens is every single zone in the game has 3 pieces of zone overland pieces, light, medium, and heavy. And all the dungeons have item set pieces, light, medium, heavy. They have monster helms, you have the arenas, you have antiquities, you have PvP, you have trials. You've literally got all the armor sets in the game except for crafted sets in this sticker book, okay? And so what it does is when you collect it by binding the gear to your actual character, it will put it in the sticker book and you have collected it forever. You've collected it on all your characters, okay? And why this is important is the more that you collect in a given set, the lower the transmute value is to reconstruct this. So if you're trying to grind a dungeon set, let's say you were trying to get Medusa, or let's say you're in a trial and you want the, Reliquin set, okay? Well, the more that you have of this set, the more you can reconstruct it for less transmute crystals, okay? So you might not even get the perfect roll that you want on your Reliquin bow, but if you get it collected, then the more pieces that you get, you can make this for only a handful of transmute crystals, and you can get the perfect trait on it, the quality, whatever you want. So it's very important, and again, that feeds from researching as well, which is why researching is important. Now, something to keep in mind, again, as I said this in the essential tips video, when you get a piece of gear, if you want it to go in your sticker book, make sure to right click and bind it, okay? You want to make sure it says bound in the top right of this section of the gear or the weapon. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is with the armor set collection system, they added smart RNG. So what Smart RNG is another quality of life update that now when you get a piece of armor in this sticker book, once it's in there, you won't get that duplicate armor again until you get the full sticker book. So that's why it's important to bind gear, because if you have it in your inventory, if you're doing a dungeon and you have a piece of gear in your inventory and it's not bound, you could potentially get another one of those, and you don't want to waste that, because if you're trying to collect as much as you can, you want to make sure you bind it in your inventory. So the armor set collection system is so clutch because it allows you to not have to farm as much. It's a huge quality of life update. So definitely start researching and start collecting. The fourth most important thing in ESO is understanding that the game is scaled, and there's a lot of different things that come along with that and make it a very important thing to understand. One of those things being is you don't have to rush through the game. Okay, so since there's not gear score, however, I do like gear score, so don't get me wrong. Even though there's not gear score though, you don't have to rush through the game because every zone is basically able to be done at any level. It used to not be like that, but they changed it with the 1 Tamriel update. So that's a big thing, because if you have a friend who's like 1000 CP and you're like level 50 or level 40, you could still play with them. You could still quest with them. You could still be in the same zone with them, but you can do dungeons with them as well, because everything will be scaled to you or to them. Like it'll be scaled to each of you, right? And so that's just something to keep in mind, because I think a lot of people think they might have to do the newest expansion or they might have to rush, but they really don't, because everything is scaled. You're never going to be technically behind because everyone is basically at the same level at some point. Then it just comes with skill gaps with, like, you know, weaving your rotations and, you know, practicing and playing more and everything like that. Another thing to keep in mind with, you know, the game being scaled is that you might think or see that you're doing a lot of DPS early on, and then your DPS might decrease a little bit, and you might be running short on resources, when like magicka, stamina, stuff like that, right? When you're using your skills. Don't be alarmed with this. This is something that is pretty normal in my opinion. It's just because the game is, like I said, you're scaling with things, and so sometimes, you know, when you're a lower level, you hit a lot harder, it seems like. So don't freak out about that. Once you get to CP 160 and you can start getting some of your build, I've got like a mid-game guide that shows you a little bit of that as well in the channel, and beginner series that kind of helps you out. But I just want you guys to understand that scaling in this game is important, because you don't have to rush, and you have to understand why maybe your DPS is decreasing sometimes, or why you're just not doing as well. And number 5 is, this is one of the probably the most important thing besides researching, and that is understanding your build and how to play your build. Okay, now there's a lot I could go into with this. I can't go into everything. That's why we have Skinny Cheeks, Nephis, Deltia, Hack, you know, people that go in depth on their builds. I do as well, but you know, some of them really push that high end game. So, but what I want to tell you guys with this is, I'm going to transition over to the game, and I'm going to kind of just give a few examples. What I want you guys to understand is, in this game, a lot of people, when they first start playing, they look up a build and it's a meta build and they try to go for it. What happens is they get the armor they say they're supposed to get, they get the skills, and one of two things happens. One, they play it and they're not good with it, or two, they play it and it gets nerfed or it gets changed, because that's the meta, and the meta changes literally every 3 months for the most part, and then it becomes frustrating, which is why a lot of people have left in some cases. So the biggest thing that I can say with this, guys, is find something that you like playing. Okay, find something you like playing. Find a class you like playing. Find a armor set that you like. Find a second armor set that you like. Find a monster set that you like. Find skills that you like, because you will have more fun and get more enjoyment and do better for the long run if you do what I'm telling you. Because if you want to become a hardcore player at this game, you can do that at any time, but you don't have to do that immediately, because you're not going to be at the same level that a lot of these people that do these high end game content, raids, the content creators, they've been playing the game for a long time. So if you're just starting out, I'm telling you, find something that you can master. Find something that makes sense to you. Find something that's fun. My main Dragon Knight account, right? My Maj DK, it's my main account. I have not switched my main in 6 years. Okay, it's been good, it's been bad, it's been good, it's been bad, right? According to the meta, right? The armor sets I'm using have been decent, they've been good, they've been nerfed, they've been good, they go up and down, right? But I use mainly the same armor sets all the time between a couple few armor sets, and I do fine. It's because I've played the build for years and I understand it and I understand what to do. That is one of the biggest things I can tell you guys is probably the most important thing to take away from this video and from ESO is I'm not saying don't play meta, but find something that you like, because if you hate it, it's not gonna be fun. So find an armor set, find some skills, find a class that looks cool, that you think is awesome, and go with it. Don't worry if it's not the best one. Have fun with it, okay? I'm telling you, you will eventually have more fun doing that than if you start off just trying to like no life it, because you're not going to understand it. That is one of the biggest things I want to leave you guys with this. If you guys did like this video, again, let's try to hit above 23 likes again. You guys are killing it. And leave me a comment down below what you think are some other important things about ESO, because I'd love to see what you guys think about that. And I'd love to see what your comments are about that. But also you can check out all the videos up here as well, somewhere around here. Kenzup's probably gonna do the beat thing because I always pick the wrong side. But just remember, y'all, just have faith, be great. And I'll see you next time on another ESO video or another video in general. Also, thank you again to my members. I really appreciate all of you. You guys are awesome. See you later.